episode we've all been waiting for.
No, I changed my mind. It's locked. No.
Oh man, that's just rude. Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, I'm wearing my Marco hat today. I didn't even realize how unprofessional of me. I should keep it on, right?
No, that's cool. I'll put my Marco.
Because this is the hat you should wear when working on your games. This is the hat I wear, except it's like this. And I'm like, wait, on the phone. Kyle, help me. I don't know what I'm doing. I wasn't paying attention to your episode 20.
The episode on hard body, which we have yet to do, but will be doing soon.
I know, right? Oh, my mic just appeared. So how's everyone doing? Kyle,
Yeah.
how are you?
I'm doing pretty okay. I'm ready to do this. Been trying to think of everything I need to tell everybody about tools and what to buy. So, you know. How about you?
Awesome.
How are you?
I am excited.
Okay.
For a few things. Nice. Yeah, I like your shirt. Oh, he's cleaning his
Oh,
glasses.
yeah.
Where is this? Sacramento?
What?
Oh, yeah. Let's all take a moment of silence for all the fires going on the West Coast.
Oh,
Oof.
man. Yeah, I feel bad for all my
Bad.
friends. I wish I could trade them some of the rain that we get here.
I know, right? Can we just push it over there? Well, a few announcements. One, my favorite announcements is that is not what I want to post. Our code for today for our 24-hour free shipping for orders over $99 is PT-Toolbox, and that Carolina. Another announcement I have is we got our Marco masks. And they're super comfy and has cooling fabric. So if you just want a nice compliant mask, we add a second layer for protection. Let's see it, Kyle. Wow.
You can get
Nice.
all like super fancy like me and wear two masks. All the cool kids are doing the surgical mask and the fabric mask.
Right, and it's cotton on the inside, some nice dry tech polyester on the outside. They're like $5 on our website now. If you type in masks, you can find it. But
Yeah.
for anyone in the chat here, you guys want a mask, tell me in the chat and send me an email to marcotv@marcopinball.com, and because you guys are our awesome PinTech audience, we will send one to you, and I'll throw in a keychain too.
And
So-
if you put a picture on IPDB, we'll send you something else on top of all that. Come
We
on.
have so many giveaways we want to do. Right. So if you would like a Marco mask, send us an email to marcotv@marcopinball.com and say it in the chat. DWispo2 already has one coming to him.
Awesome.
And our homework is still adding more pictures to the Internet Pinball database. So if you add pictures from your home collection to update the database and send me proof, send me the pictures or the confirmation or whatever, I'll send you a centigrade t-shirt, one of our cool Marco shirts. Kind of like the one Kyle's wearing, except not Centaur. Turn around, Kyle.
Yep.
Show them how cool the back is.
So-
it's like a play field on the back, and it's made by Free Gold Watch. They're the coolest
Yeah,
things ever.
Matt at Free Gold Watch did the art for our the Firepower and the Centigrade shirt, and he also did the Centaur shirt, which is my favorite shirt and hoodie ever. And I generally try to wear a Marco shirt when we stream, and I totally thought I was putting on my Fire Good work, guys. I'll be back in a little bit, dude. All right, just tell me when I'm live. Oh, hey, Internet. No one wants to see my face, so I'm going to turn this around. Look, this is the only selfie you'll ever see from me. Hi. Okay. So I can't see what any of you guys are saying. I apologize. And I also can't really hear Emoto super well. But are we all good? Can y'all hear me? I got a thumbs up. The chat can hear me. What's up, friends? Okay, we're at Pinball Expo. Speaking of being at Pinball Expo, we got the freaking best of the best. We got Kale. He blew up Bond. I got the TC. And then Rachel probably blew it up before. And we got Jody sack tapping Kale. Jody, we're on live on my stream. This is Jody. He's super cool. Sack tap. And then we got Rachel. Ooh. I just got sack tap. It was great. All right. So Emoto's sweating bullets right now. Rachel, are you having a good time? It's awesome. Rachel really likes James Bond. These guys are going to sack tap away. Okay, so check it out. This is the Stern booth. It's gorgeous. Got that red carpet for James Bond. There's friend and best friend Eddie from tech support. We just fixed that James Bond Pro, but they've got a great assortment of games. I think there's 5 James Bond Pros and 5 premiums in the booth, which is pretty cool. Godzilla's, Rushes, Jurassic Park, Mandalorians, everything. One fun thing that we just got to see the other day is we do have the Mandalorian topper in the flesh.
Oh, the Mando toppers there. Nice.
Super neat. It's really atmospheric. It's got like a really cool depth effect. That's pretty neat. All sorts of people enjoying pinball around here. The James Bond artwork is really, really cool. I really do like the Pro with the Dr. No color scheme here. And then there's the premium over here. Has the the collage of movie posters, which is super fun. All right, so we can just wander around a little bit. This is my stream. There's one of Fliptronic. It's
Fliptronic. Awesome.
Oh yeah, and then there's the other half of Fliptronic. We'll go see them. Yeah, it feels weird just talking to a camera, doesn't it?
Well, you would be able to hear our responses if you had headphones.
No, it's PinTech. We're just doing a quick walkthrough of the show.
There's
got the
Tilt.
Tilted Amusement booth with all their rad shirts and lots of their Stern accessories. Oh, the other thing, a really cool, awesome shout out is Tilt Amusements actually supplied every single one of these games in the Stern booth, other than the James Bonds. So Trent and Troy really came through and brought a ton of stuff. It's incredible. Someone playing some Hercules here. Emoto, you can yell at me if people are saying things too. I can hear you.
Hado J said this must be what it feels like to be 7 feet tall at Expo.
This is exactly what it is like to be really
You see
tall
everything, huh?
Yeah, and everyone can see me, which is really cool.
Oh, there's Fast Pinball. That's cool.
Over here. This is the wall of all of the custom and re-theme games. I was talking with Ed earlier today. Super cool. Yeah, with his Ghost in the Shell game. He also brought the Greyhounds, which is the game, the big game that he re-themed like over 10 years ago. So kind of neat. I haven't gotten to play any of these yet because they really actually just got turned on recently. So yeah, there's that.
There's so many.
Over here, we've got Christopher Frenchie.
Is the Dukes of Hazzard custom pin over there?
Yeah, it is here somewhere. I haven't seen Mr. Danzig, but it is here somewhere. So we've actually the free play section here is really, really awesome. They've got a great assortment of games. We've got the American Pinball booth, and Ryan himself. Hey, it's going okay. How are you?
Yay!
This is my live stream. So do you want me to walk away?
Indie
All right,
Racing Nut,
here's-
there is a
Look
Spaceballs
at the man.
band.
It's Bruce.
John Marsh in the
Up, Internet?
Southeast makes it. Sometimes it shows up at Southern
Yeah,
Pride.
I'm trying to convince people to
It's
fly to
awesome.
Chicago right now to come visit. So
I'm gonna swim.
yeah, it's not that bad. We've got all the American games. We've got our Oktoberfest, Legends of Valhalla, Houdini, Hot Wheels. Exciting, exciting.
Nice.
Got some repair going on. We got Magic Girl, pretty cool.
Oh wow.
You'll probably never see
Working
this
Magic
again.
Girl, right?
We'll come and try to get a better view of it later. It's fun. I've played that game once or twice. It's neat. I just wish it was finished. The free play section, though, I was saying is pretty awesome. There's a great assortment of games.
Nice.
Rob Burke brought a ton of EMs. I'm really excited to go play some of those. Friend of the show, the best pinball friend, Ashley Ludwig, is here as well. We were playing a bunch of EMs this morning, having a great time walking around. We did a little bit of partying last night at Interium.
Oh great. How did it go?
That was really fun. The food was good. There's a full. Unfortunately, they turned off. It closes really early, which is kind of odd.
Oh.
But they turned off all the amusement games by the time I was about to play, or all the redemption games. I really wanted to play
Oh.
the Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
But yeah, a fun assortment of games. I mean, everything from.
Whoa, what is that
Classic
next to
Valley.
Medusa?
What's up?
What is the game next to Medusa? It's
Big
so
deal,
tiny.
William. Big
Oh.
deal. Yeah, the reverse wedge head. So
Wow.
I love the George
Whoa.
Melanson artwork on these old Williams. They're great. Interesting game.
Why is it called a reverse wedge head?
I'm sorry.
Why is it called a reverse wedge head?
So there's a Gottlieb pair of wedge heads.
Oh,
that
because
is
it's
a
upside down.
William. Yeah, so they just call those the reverse wedge head.
Why aren't the Gottlieb ones the reverse ones?
Because Gottlieb introduced it, I think. We've got our friends at the Spooky booth. I'm doing my live stream.
Oh, nice.
This is one of the Spooky Luke. And he is here. Emoto's waving it. That's for me? Wow. It even got signed.
Oh, you should wear that as a hat.
I owe you. Thank you.
Kyle's hot pinball action.
A hot pinball action for TNA. So Spooky's got our Halloweens. There is a Corwin with a bag of chicken. Good man. That better be iced tea. Oh, what kind of Southerner are you? We've got TNA, some Ultramans. Oh, look at
Is
how
that
lucky-
Rudy?
I'm
You look
super
like
stoked.
Rudy from the back.
So yeah, I joked when they released TNA, they were like, "Oh, they're gonna have toppers," and my TNA never had a topper, so I requested one, and I got one. It's very sweet of them. We've got a lot of art. Brian Allen's crazy
Nice.
redesigns and reimagining of a lot of the Williams games and his unique artwork. Super talented artist. We've got a
Oh,
bunch of
hey,
Rob-
say hi to Jeremy for us. Pinball Mayhem, Jeremy, right there.
Yeah,
Turn to your left. Say hi to him.
He's dealing with some purchasing. I did see
Oh.
Jeremy this morning.
We
We've
want
got
to say
some
hi
mod
to
makers,
Pinball
other things.
Mayhem.
Honestly, I haven't been over here yet since they set up, but there's stuff going on. We
Seems
talked
like
to
a lot more
Dan.
vendors this year.
There's
great.
Dan Spolar. We were talking to him this morning too. All around great, wonderful human being.
Project Pinball shout out.
Here we have Mayfair Amusements. This is
Oh,
Mayfair
cool.
Amusements is
Yay.
an incredible place to buy pinball
We
parts
love
as well.
Mayfair.
For some semi-uncommon things that we might not have. You can reach out to Steve Engel at Mayfair Amusements via email, but I mean, like this kind of stuff. New old stock original Bally spinners. I've bought one for every single game that I need one for, right? Like I got one for Baby Pac-Man at home. I have a Strikes and Spares. I bought a Dolly Parton one for my Dolly. You know, Space Invaders Paragon. They're not cheap, but where else are you going to find one? And they're, you know, a real silkscreen spinner is 1,000 times better than a a decaled one, but Steve's got a lot of great stuff. Steve has an incredible
Beautiful.
collection of original back glasses too, that he carts around to a lot of shows. So if you're looking for something rare, reaching out to Steve himself, Mr. Mayfair Amusements, this is where you can get all the
Yay.
good stuff. So
Nice.
all sorts of like
Hey,
original
Steve.
plastics and stuff. So here's a fun story for people that don't know. These coasters, when they punched out the, so like on the speaker panels, right? These are the holes for the speaker panels. So they would print these, and when they were cut, they'd have promo materials. So
Nice.
that's what those things are. But Steve's got a ton of, I mean, all these original key fobs and promotional materials that you just can't find anywhere. Look at that. A whole thing of roller games.
Mm.
So he's got, I mean, look at this too. Schematics and manuals and flyers for every game you can think of.
Hey, Sean.
Steve Engel is an incredible resource. So if you can't find it with us, and it's rare, he probably has it.
For sure.
Got the Chicago Gaming booth here.
Nice.
A little bit of everything. I guess we're missing Attack from Mars, but they've got the Cactus Canyons. There's Ryan White, the wonderful man at Chicago Gaming that we all love. Lots of good booth stuff. I've been resisting spending money, but there's a lot of good stuff around here. Look at that, Emoto. You can build your own Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Okay.
If that's what it'll take.
Oh, let's go see my favorite part over here, actually. So this is Mark Gibson's booth. Mark Gibson is the man behind Fun with Pinball.
Fun with Pinball.
And Mark also runs the online electromechanical repair seminars that we always try to talk about. But these are Mark's devices. I was very lucky because Mark loaned these to the Pacific Pinball Museum for a period of time. And when we were going to all the STEAM events and teaching people about how pinball worked, we got to take care of these things. And they're just incredible. So it's a, you know, they're deconstructed pinball devices. So old wood rail games that don't have a ball serve, a manual ball serve. When you play a wood rail game, there will be 5 balls in a trough. When you push start, it energizes a coil that pulls down. It takes all the balls and puts them into this trough. You will hand load one, so you push the plunger. It puts the ball in the shooter lane. And the way that the game's wired, as soon as you hit the first switch, it will then de-energize that coil, but you have those 5 balls in the trough to be able to play pinball with.
That's awesome.
So really neat way to be able to visualize what's actually going on inside of a pinball game.
Show us more. Show us another one.
Here's the demonstration on how a magnet works. And these are really brilliant because Mark has these powered up with transformers, and then they're daisy chained together so you can have them, you know, all in one line. But we have a magnet demonstration here. So there are a couple relays up here. When I push this button, it energizes this magnet control relay. When this gets pressed, it energizes this relay, which then pulls in and activates the magnet. And you can see how a magnet will swing a ball around. There we go. I hit the light. Left side wins. And they get from really simple things like that to very complex things. Using a horse racing. This is actually one of my favorites here. This is using the Running Man unit, a Williams Running Man unit from a pitch and back game. And he's designed it into its own little game. So we can start the game.
All right, I gotta watch this.
And you can see the inner workings of how the Running Man unit works, but he's also got it wired up as a game. So there are switches here. Every other one is a strike, a single, a double, a triple. So it's a game of skill, right? So we can pull this back. I got a single. And the ball's stuck. Hold on. And it uses the same logic that the game would use in the pitch and bat to run the Running Man unit, which is just fantastic. It's such an interesting piece of engineering. They're very complicated, but incredible. A double. I think this stuff is great because it really does kind of
so cool.
simplify, not simplify, but it demystifies electromechanical stuff, right? It shows you how everything works in conjunction. Honestly, when we had this thing at the Pacific Pinball Museum, Michael Sheese and I would play this more than pinball when we were stuck in the warehouse working on games, because it's just so much fun. I'm going to strike out here just so we can move on, but there we go.
That's so awesome. I want to battle you in that.
Incredible? It's
Can
a
we
really
battle?
wonderful piece of technology.
He can't hear me.
Yeah, it's incredible. So the way it works is there's a coil that when a man is supposed to come up, the coil will energize, and as this thing turns, it flops the man up. It's super simple. Well, it's very complicated, but simple at the same time. Showing how a score motor works. You may have seen this diagram of the way that switches are hit in a score motor when it goes. And this kind of gives you a visualization of those switch stacks going. What combination of switches are going when the score motor is moving? How the game uses its logic. This stuff is just so incredible.
Wow.
We'll look at one more before we go. I mean,
This
I could
is
sit here
a
all day and
Pinball
stare at this
Expo
stuff.
in Chicago, Illinois.
What? Say that again?
I was saying that this is at Pinball Expo in Chicago.
Yes, if you're in Chicago, actually no, if you're anywhere, come. If it's anywhere possible, really fun show. This is neat. Zipper flippers. All of the functions of a zipper flipper. Left flipper, a right flipper, bringing the flippers together. And then there's one coil that unlocks them. It looks like the pull-in coil isn't latching 100% right now, but it's a really interesting setup. And these are Williams zipper flippers, which are really interesting too. I'm more familiar with the Bally's, but you know, it's things as simple as a flipper. How does a flipper work? What does it look like? And this stuff just like blew the minds of children. I mean, this one's really fun too, right? A solenoid.
Adults too.
Push the button awesome. And the coil energizes and it pulls the solenoid up. It's just fun to watch these devices in motion. You know what I mean?
What's the telephone do?
I think the telephone is...
Is that a pinball part?
It works on it works with the electromechanical devices in a telephone. You know, a rotary telephone like that is an electromechanical device. Here's some spare games. Rob brought so many. They had a lot of people bring games at the last minute that weren't expected. So Rob was able to pull some of his games off the floor to have some here. Oh, and everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
Come on, who doesn't love that?
It muted the Zoom audio muted that. That was crazy.
Oh well.
You just have to go to Pinball Expo to experience it.
Yes, yeah, no, come here and play. Okay, we're going to wrap this up. Let's walk around a little bit. Some great EMs.
Wow.
There's Mike Hale, a pinball fixing extraordinaire.
Awesome.
Keeping all these great games that Rob provided us to play. There's a real cool, super rare unicorn right here. This is one of the most beautiful games Gottlieb ever made, and you'll never see another one. They made 100. It's really neat with the split banks of drop targets, and just the artwork is just incredible. It's a wonderful game.
Nice.
Sure Shot's a fun one. Strange World is another incredibly rare.
A lot of content. For which pin is it?
Oh, we've got the Jersey Jack booth. I finally got to meet a friend of the show, Obi, Drunk Kenobi, who is standing right there. I'm not going to bug him.
Obi, you have to bug him. Why wouldn't you bug him? Definitely
hey, Crystal,
bug him.
Can you just wave? It's a moto.
Yay!
Miss Crystal very dearly, but she is really fitting in here wonderfully at her Jersey Jack booth. It's incredible.
Yay,
Lots
Crystal.
of Toy Stories to play. They're really fun. Later in the day, they're going to have this setup done where you can get a special match screen, and it will give you the ability to come and work the claw. The claw.
Yeah.
So hopefully later today, we'll be able to try to play some Toy Story and try to choose someone correctly. Kingpin Games, our dealer partner for
Yay,
the Midwest
Chris.
Gaming Classic. They've brought some crazy equipment, like, you know, like those two things right there. That's like $90,000 of equipment or so. It's
Yeah,
insane.
those raw thrill games are insane.
Virtual reality King Kong game and the
Thanks for
Fire Team
posting that
Raven
link,
Halo
Eternal
game.
Grimmy.
Here's some rare oddities that
Highly
Burke brought
recommended to
too.
everyone. Oh, what is
Some
that?
Spanish pinball
Whoa.
machines.
Oh, cool.
And Joust, but everyone's seen Joust. But
And
you've got
Joust.
that. You've got
Still
Sonic's Gamatron, which is Stern's Flight 2000. Just redesigned for Spanish pinball play. It's a neat game. Flight 2000 is an incredible game too. Orbiter 1.
Orbiter.
Pataco. And Screech.
Wow.
I love the Spanish games. They're just so different. And another batch of stuff. Another really rare old Stern game. Stern Iron Maiden 1.0. This is the last pinball game that Stern Pinball
Yeah, we definitely
made before they went funk. It was either this or Viper. I'm pretty sure it's Iron Maiden. We've got one of the original James Bond. There's been 3 James Bond pinball machines, and all 3 of them are here represented somehow. Someone had a new old stock James Bond playfield in a box, a Gottlieb James Bond.
Wow.
But you've got the monochromatic Twilight Zone and Addams Family over there. Let me take a look see really quick.
Oh, can you just walk in there? Oh, nice. Woo.
Sure, everyone's seen pictures of these beautiful things on the internet. Pretty cool to see.
Nice.
Excuse me.
Ooh, who is that fancy looking
Oh, and
gentleman?
Tim Kitzrow wanted to go play Twilight Zone, which he voiced. The voice of Rod Serling. That's Tim Kitzrow right there.
Oh, it was Tim. See, I knew it. He's so dapper.
Yeah, I was talking with Tim earlier today. He's got a booth over there doing some autographs and such.
Nice. I didn't know he was the
Hemispheres.
voice in Twilight Zone. That's crazy.
Yeah. He voiced Rod Serling in Twilight Zone, which is pretty incredible. He kind of got it spot on. He was telling me a couple years ago that Rod Serling's widow, I don't recall her name, was like just absolutely blown away by the work he did voicing her husband in that game, and that's pretty cool.
Oh, he did the voice
Galloping
for World Cup Soccer as well?
World Cup Soccer. I mean, his best known role is definitely NBA Jam.
Yeah, NBA Jam.
You know, everyone knows him as Mr. Boom Shakalaka. We've got a bunch of games from the Galloping Goat. A video lined up in this back corner over here. One of my favorites over there is Reactor. That's a neat old Gottlieb game and a really beautiful old cabinet. Let's go look at it really quick, just because a lot of people will never see this game.
Yeah,
Mike
keep
Vinocour's
showing
really
us.
good at it. Mike Vinocour's on his way here. We're gonna go get some lunch, and then I'll film him playing Reactor for 45 minutes, like he did when we went to Galloping Ghost a few months ago.
I filmed him playing Reactor. I actually posted it on my Moto Arcade page at California Extreme.
Really?
Yeah, he played for like
It's a really
an
neat
hour or
game.
two.
Trackball game.
Oh no, hold on, I'm wrong. It was
a really unique cabinet, and it's all about the sound. You got these 2 very prominent speakers, and it's got a really cool droney sound to it. But a really rare game. I cannot recommend this place enough. It's the most incredible arcade I've ever been to. It's insane. It's the best arcade I've ever been to, actually. I will put that down. They have a separate pinball room. The arcade is just video games, but they do have a pinball location just a few, like 1 block away. But it's like insane. You just go from room to room that just has so many games. It's just mind-boggling.
I wish
So
I had
Pinball
a pair
Expo.
of Heelys.
A what?
Through that. A pair of Heelys. It's so much walking.
So Pinball Expo is a. I think this place is. This is a really special show.
We want to see Pinball Brothers Queen. There's been a request.
Oh, yeah. Let's go over there and take a look-see. Pinball Expo is a really special show. This is also my first time here, but you know, it's really neat. It's not the biggest show. It doesn't have the most games, but it gives you a really, really unique opportunity to meet the people that create these things all in one spot. You might go to a pinball show and meet the designer of the latest game, right? You might be able to go and meet John Borg, like he came with us to, well, Texas is unique because a lot of people go there, but you know, you'll meet one or two people, but here you can meet everybody. And it's just, you know, if that's what you're into, it's great. Seeing a lot of our European friends too. I saw Guillaume behind Paris Pinball Addict this morning, and we talked for a while. All the rest of the guys from France, RB Flip, a couple of those folks are here. It's just, you know, it's fun. Everyone's here. Oh, let's go check out a game I love and you don't see very often.
I know.
I'm late.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, what's up?
Colin Baxter said, go back and say hi to Obi.
I will. He was talking, so I didn't get to say hi.
Everyone's always talking. Yeah, Diamond Lady. I'm surprised you don't own a Diamond Lady.
It's a great game. John Norris Classic. You might dismiss it really fast because it looks hokey and silly, but the rules in this game are really fun. It's a game that's really, really fun to progress through. And I'd love one of these one day. It's a really fun game. So here is the Pinball Brothers booth. We got a bunch of aliens.
Nice.
It's another incredible game if you haven't had a chance to play that. But I don't want to get in the way of these folks playing, but we can take a quick look-see.
Nice.
That's as close as you're going to get. I'll play, and then I'll give a review in Discord later. Oh, here's another awful, amazing game. Asteroid Annie and the Alien. This is the game that is super gorgeous, but it's just so bad.
That's a good one.
It was the first solid-state Gottlieb game. Interestingly, which really doesn't make any sense, is why the heck would you make it a one-player game? There's literally no reason that it's a one-player game. I think what the real reason was it was actually a single-player solid an EM game that they turned into a solid-state game at the last minute. Because the Gottlieb solids or EMs were selling like hot garbage when everyone else was selling solid-state stuff. Here's another extremely rare game, Williams Defender. This is a really cool game. It's got so many drop targets. This game has so many coils used. It's insane. Up, down, drop target action. It's got drop targets in the center of the playfield. And one of my favorite bits about this game is it actually has a manual kickback. So when you have the kickback lit, there's another button on above the left flipper that you can hit to manually knock the ball back into play. That's a really rare game.
Defender's leftover parts?
What's up?
Was Defender leftover parts? Maybe?
No, Defender was a game. There was like 1 year Gottlieb Williams released like in 1984, 1985. There was a, you know, they usually make a flyer for every game. And in 1 year, there was one flyer for the 4 games that Williams released in 1 year. This was like the worst time for pinball after the big crash.
Oh,
you know, it was always pinball and video fighting one after another. And this was definitely a time when video was a better option and was offering better stuff. So this is an incredible game. It just never had its time in the sun. And you can see, I mean, it is definitely a Melis's era game. It's got one speaker, you know, it's got a small back glass. It's only 2 players because those extra displays cost money. But the thing is, it had a crazy bill of material with the actual drop targets and stuff. So it's a little bizarre.
Crazy. It was Lost World that he said was.
It was what?
Lost World.
That's a Bally game, right? Oh yeah, it's the old one of the first Bally solid state. Well, not one of the first. I think Lost World was the first Bally solid state game with sound. Got some crazy looking boards over here. Look at that. Yeah. It's purple.
I like that.
I want a purple MPU.
Yeah.
There's Jordan again.
Where's Obi? We want to say
right
hi
there.
to Obi.
Yeah.
Oh, he's walking to him.
It's live stream. Will you come on PinTech? Are you okay with coming on PinTech? It's friend of the show, Obi Drunk Kenobi, and the flesh.
Yay, Obi.
There he is. Here, Emoto probably wants to say something, so here, say hi to Emoto. Moto!
Hi, Obi. We're all so excited to see you. Everyone in the chat was like, "Go back to Obi. He was too scared to talk to you." But we're
Well,
good.
so you were busy talking with other people, so I didn't want to bother you. Colin Baxter specifically said, "Go
Oh,
talk."
Obi is so cool. That's awesome. I can't wait. to
Yeah.
spend
Oh, look,
time
and there's
with him.
Ashley.
Oh,
Sorry, you're on the internet.
Ashley. Nice.
We're
Hello,
streaming.
Miss Ashley.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everyone keeps coming up to say, "Oh, hey, Kyle," and then I'm like, "Hey, you're on the internet." I'm like,
I know this is perfect.
It is perfect. Okay, well, this is a good time to end the stream, I think. I'm going to go walk over in the corner where it's a little quieter, but you got to see everyone you wanted to see, right?
No, we didn't get to see everyone we want to see. You didn't go.
No.
We didn't get to see wave to any Stern people.
No,
Besides
well, lunch just
Eddie
got
for a
here,
quick
so as
second.
soon as the lunch got there and Jody was done sack tapping everybody, they all went to go eat chicken. So, yeah, look at some games here. Games for sale. Of course, the
Oh.
Grand Prix sold before anything else. It's an incredible game.
Which one
One of
would
my
you buy?
Actually, I'm kind of jealous. That back glass is incredibly nice.
Wow.
Most Grand Prix, all of this just turns white. This is a 4-color back glass, so the magentas start to come out. So they turn yellow and then white. But the Grand Prix back glass with red is incredible. The biggest problem you'll get with Grand Prix is that all of these inserts for the bonus start to cup, and sometimes the big arrows start to lift up. So you'll try to make a spinner shot, and it just goes. It sounds like you're going over a rumble strip on a freeway. But this is a great game, one of the best. One of the most complicated electromechanical games too. One of the last. I think Williams actually made a solid state version of Grand Prix when they were prototyping that stuff. So here, let me flip the camera around so I can say bye. Okay, sorry if that was super chaotic.
How much did that Grand Prix sell for?
I don't know. They ripped the sign wasn't on it, but that King Cool was $250. That Jubilee was $250. I mean, that's actually some really good pricing for games like that. An EM project, I'd pay that, and I'm cheap. That's a game I can actually kind of afford without going into massive debt. So, anywho, sorry that was chaotic, but I hope it was enjoyable.
No, it wasn't chaotic at all. You could go on for another hour if it was up to us. But I know you want to get out and play, so thank you for spending time with us to show us the floor.
I'm starting to get a little dehydrated. The party at
drink lots of
Interior last
water.
night was fun, and I woke up with little, when you drink a little too much and not enough water. So I need to keep going and drinking some H2O. But yeah, seriously, if anyone's anywhere near, this is definitely worth coming to. It has the Kyle seal of approval. So whatever that's worth.
Awesome. Thanks, Kyle. See you later.
Yeah. Do you want me to just like log off or what?
Yeah, you can just sign off. It'll mess my screen.
Okay, bye everyone. Thanks. Sorry I couldn't see the chat, but I hope it was fun. How do I do it? There it goes.
We just end up staying like on, but in his pocket the whole time. That would be great. All right, that was a fun. Whoa, you could do that? That's crazy. I just learned something new. Look at this. Whoa. Okay. So Kyle is having fun gallivanting Pinball Expo. We'll be joining him soon, tomorrow. So I am going to get there sometime in the afternoon. We will most likely be streaming at some point Friday evening and at some point Saturday as well. I would love to do kind of what we did at MGC, where we interview all the different homebrew, the custom games over there, and a few other fun kind of walkthrough, on the fly type interviews with people. So make sure you have all the notifications on and stuff like that, and you'll be hopefully able to join us in the chat when we walk around some more this weekend. Show Talk, is the show open to the public today, or was that all exhibitors? Yes, I believe the show open. I'm pretty sure yes. It opened at 2 today to everybody, but it may be like the general public can come in at 5. or something, because it did look like not a whole lot of people there yet, but it's also a weekday. So Expo runs from like Wednesday night until Saturday night, and most shows kind of fall on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing, so they're a little bit different. But yeah, please upstream to 180p. I know. I can't guarantee that. Right now everything's crazy because we're just going through Zoom. And when we do stream live walking around, I will worried that the 1080p we will run into a lot of bitrate issues. Being in that convention center, it does not have the greatest service, unfortunately. But we'll try our best. So we still have, some content to watch, y'all. Last week on PinTech Live, someone asked Kyle a few questions about his toolbox, and I was like, why don't we replay that fun episode 2 years ago where Kyle shows us all of his tools that he uses when he goes and does pinball repairs on location and everything like that. So we're going to cut over to that, and y'all have fun reminiscing and looking at Kyle with his long hair, and it's good times. I'll see the rest of y'all next week or at Expo this weekend.
Power shirt, but nope. I've got Destroy Centaur on today.
Cut over to that
and my comm badge, because it was Star Trek Day the other day, and I'm still,
It was Star Trek Day.
I'm waiting for my ship to beam me out of here so I can go back to my own timeline, because I don't feel like this is the right timeline. But
Definitely.
Yeah, we've got an even cooler announcement. Sorry, am I jumping?
Yeah, hold on one second. Everyone's like, I want it. So for Internet Pinball Database, yes, you can just send me a screenshot of your confirmation from them. Any type of confirmation. Show me take a photo with your phone showing that you're uploading.
It'll show you, give your name underneath the picture who uploaded it. And I've been bad too. I have not taken enough pictures yet. I'm going to start working on that next week. Get all of my games photographed for IPDB.
Let me post it here. Okay, send your
It's fun homework. Come on.
Request to. Okay, so Kyle has a great announcement for our international customers. I'm excited to hear about this too, because I don't know too much about it.
This is like the coolest thing that's ever happened. We have incredibly inexpensive international shipping rates now. Our Canadian and Australian customers, and even our Mexican customers, have some like incredibly good rates, and our European customers have equally competitive rates. We are offering, I was screwing around yesterday and I was trying to ship a set of plastics. Okay, so not too heavy, but an awkward sized package, right? And traditionally, our shipping partner was like extraordinarily expensive. I mean, we've got complaints where people were trying to be charged, the equivalent of almost $60 to ship, for example, one pinball to Canada, to Australia, which is absurd. Now, I was able to get to Canada. We used an address in Vancouver, a plastic set. It would cost, I think it was like $20 without duties paid for the shipping, right? It's complicated, right? You international folks, you know what your duties and taxes are and how much you have to spend before you have to start paying extra taxes and duties. But we found a solution where like a $150 plastic set would end up costing about $220 to get shipped to Canada in 3 days with the duties and taxes included into that price. Again, where traditionally we were, our shipping partner was charging almost $60 to ship one pinball to Australia. You guys are going to be very happy when you go on the website and check it out. So, and you can take your cart on the website and check out, as an international customer, and it will give you like to the cent duty and tax pricing. To Canada right now, we are offering untracked, which is a little bit less expensive and it takes a little longer. You do not get a tracking number. We're also offering duties and taxes unpaid. But like I said, we found like the Priority International Express, you were able to get a plastic set from us in 3 to 5 days for less than it would have cost to have it sent just standard cross-border. Any international customers right now, like, go mess with it. You'll be totally, totally blown away, I hope. This should help you guys getting small packages. Because again, traditionally, like a lot of people in Canada, Europe, Australia, they do big group buys. 3 or 4 people would toss together like a huge order and have it shipped over because the shipping costs were, like, let's be frank, I mean, they were, almost highway robbery. It was very expensive. Now it costs about $15. I mean, we were looking at it too, like shipping, I think I did like 2 motors or something to get something heavy to Germany. It was going to cost 15 euros to get it to Germany. Like, that's insane. So I hope you guys appreciate the new rates we're trying to give you. So
yeah, and let us know what you think about them when you do start using it. Botra says this pricing is a lot better. Thank you from Canada. Yay.
No problem. And so it is also too, for any international customer that might call to ask questions, like, of course, call us anytime. But the cheapest way to get parts cross-border now is absolutely to do it through the website.
Unless it's Mexico, Family Games is offering to smuggle parts into Mexico for us.
I did check some rates for Mexico, and they were pretty competitive also. But right now, we're really, most of our international shipments, if you guys want to know, they go to Canada and Australia. So, and then after that, we've got European countries and some stuff in South America and Asia. But right now, we're really focusing on trying to get the most competitive rates to Canada and Australia. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. We've been working on it for a long time. Well, Marco has been working on it for a long time. So you can all give him a big pat on the back next time we're at a pinball show. So.
Yay. It's been a long time coming, and it's so great because we know that you guys have been struggling and we've been working day and night to try to figure this out. So
yeah,
hopefully this helps.
We could only say we've been working on it for a long time, a bazillion times before people start thinking we're lying. So we really have.
Oh my God. Chris Penn says, okay, so with my end just dropping everything, I guess the stream for him is not so good. What I can crudely piece together is Marco is planning on smuggling pinball parts to New Canada via skateboard caravan underground. Sort of what we said.
That's what I was working on.
This guy.
Marco's doing all this FedEx stuff. I was getting an army of longboarders to use my tunnel to Canada. So, yeah.
All right, I'm going louder. Request. High five, Marco team. Yay. Okay, so with those announcements out of the way, before we start, Kyle, I'm scrolling up. A few people asked a little question. Did you talk to a guy yesterday about the glider on a TMT dying after the latest update?
Yeah, I was talking to Ken Grant about that, local South Carolina fella. Well, I gotta reach out. We gotta reach out to Stern about some of that stuff. I think there was an issue, but I don't know.
Okay, and there's another one I was looking at. Everyone's just like super excited in the chat right now. Good. So I'm sorry if I missed. Oh, Family Games asked, "Do you know that your display is out on Mars Trek?" What?
Yep.
Oh, we got a Midge laugh out of that one.
Bam! There it goes. It works now.
Oh, he got out of his seat to look.
That's I don't know. I'm really excited for us to like actually market this international shipping thing. I know it might not sound exciting to all y'all because everyone in America, we're all lucky we get these free shipping codes and stuff. Exciting. But all of our international pinball friends have been struggling for a long time. So we're here to help.
And a Family Game said major look. And then also he has a pitch, an idea for a package. It would be great if you could do a kit with all the pin connectors for MPUs, like a System 7 board pin connector package.
Yeah.
Or like a System 6 would have the 40 pins and the ones on the perimeter.
Yeah, it's a lot of work to make our system do that kind of stuff. But what I would like to do is do more knowledge center stuff using part numbers in our systems to be able to help people figure out exactly what they need. We're going to be working on System 6 stuff maybe next week. I've got 2 System 6 games here that I want to work on, and I just came upon a new System 7 game. To me, my only System 7 game that I own currently, I think. So I want to get back in on learning how to do the Williams stuff. But if you need the exact components, send me an email, because I do have some 8 or 10 pin long male headers to use with the interconnect. We got like a new part that will work much better than the traditional length 156 connectors. And again, most of the time you don't need to replace a lot of those peripheral connectors on those computers, unless you do. But I wouldn't change them unless you actually have a problem with them, just saying. But anyways.
Nice.
But yeah,
That
if you need the part
yeah,
numbers, let me know.
That sounds cool. Sounds complicated. Family Game said it would be a system that would pull all the parts when a person orders the kit.
Yeah, that's kind of how our website works, but unfortunately it's hard. It's it's not as easy as it is for me to like explain how to do it. We don't need to get into that.
On it. Yeah. Okay, so on to the show. You see this right here? Oh, you can't see. I'm pointing at Kyle's
My box.
box, and we all wanted to know what's in the box. What's in the
box?
So Kyle,
Let's do it. The most
the
important thing on anyone's toolbox is obviously the stickers. If you don't have any stickers on your toolbox, you're doing it wrong. But let me start off first. The actual most important tool anyone could ever have is a light. This might sound stupid, but this is the most important tool. No, I know. The most important tool that you can have in your pinball toolkit, seriously, is light. Light helps you see. If you cannot see, you are you're going to be fighting things, right? Shadows are problematic. Light helps. I cannot stress enough to just use a light. It's just hook it up to the service outlet, put it on, then start working on the game. It's very useful. This light is old. It's disgusting. It's crunched up a bazillion times, but it works. It's just a cheap clamp
like a gecko light
with an LED bulb. You need a light. That's the first tool everyone should have. Second off, a toolbox. So I'm a
I
service
tried to show
tech.
off your stickers, but the overhead shot is too bright.
Okay, we'll do 1 second of stickers. This thing weighs a ton.
Oh my god! He brought his whole box up.
We've got the Marco sticker, the live long and play lots of Star Trek pinball every day, Steve Ritchie, Electric Bat Arcade, a Friends Arcade in Arizona, Beer Keller, Columbia, the best beer in the city of Columbia, South Carolina. Vallejo, it's a city I used to live, but this was like a lifestyle brand there, and I don't know, they were nice guys. Valley Midway, you got the Ampelmann from the stoplights in East Berlin. The owls are not what they seem. I love me some Twin Peaks, right? I've got this one, Emoto Arcade. Dang, who's that? I don't know. I've got an old school.
Basically, the moral of the story is swag up your toolbox
Absolutely.
with stickers of local arcades and places and things you like, because
I just love stickers. I buy stickers everywhere. Every time I go see a show and a band has a sticker, I buy it. Anytime I go to a business and they have a sticker, I buy it.
Yes, and if anyone wants to send Kyle stickers,
yeah,
send it to Kyle. And use our address that's on our website for Marcus, and he'll put them on his toolbox.
And I'll have a huge smile because I love stickers. So, anyways,
he loves stickers.
I won't talk about the light anymore, even though that is the most important thing. But okay, the reason I have this toolbox set up like this is because I do service calls, right? I'm a service technician. I don't keep my mini pinball games in my house. I keep them on location. and I go fix people's games in their houses or on location. So I don't need a tool set at home, but I try to keep everything as portable as I can. So I could, there's a lot of tools I'd like to have, but this is my basic service setup. So yeah, I don't know. Everyone needs nut drivers. This is awkward. I've been trying to figure out how I should present this whole thing, but we'll just talk about stuff and like interject. So if people have questions or need anything, scream at me and I'll stop. But nut drivers. Nut drivers are very important. In the top of my toolbox here, I keep from 1/4 inch to 3/8. You don't really use a 3/8 inch nut driver much. In pinball, you do use a 3/8 inch open wrench, like to do flipper crank nuts and stuff like that. But the nut drivers that I have, these are they're from Klein Tools. They're pricey, but they're kind of focused more towards electricians. They are nice because they have a hollow shaft, so you can thread a nut down onto a post and these things are hollow the whole way up, so they're great like for taking nuts off of posts and stuff like that. These also have magnets on the inside, so you can, when you take a nut off, it won't fall out. You can load a nut in and put them in. With pinball, though, you do need to be careful. Actually, none of these really still have the magnets in them. Sometimes the posts that the nuts go on, they're much wider, and for whatever reason, the magnets are very brittle, and they cracked out of these things. So I do keep, I have repurchased this 1/4 inch one that still has a magnet in it, because this is like the one you use most, right? 1/4 inch and 5/16. I have multiple nut drivers in here. This magnet is a little bit brittle, and I want to make sure I don't break my nice magnetic nut driver. I keep these less expensive Exolite ones that do have a hollow shaft. That's probably the most important bit about buying a nut driver for this application, is making sure they have a hollow shaft. This one I actually have some teeny little magnets in that sit up through the hollow shaft, which allow me to turn this into a magnetic nut driver. But yeah, hollow shaft and a magnet. That's an A+. Any questions?
I just posted that our nut driver, hollow shaft nut driver set in the chat. Thank you for that, Family Games.
Yeah, and a lot of these tools, again, like for a long period of my life, I mean, this is my livelihood. So and to me, I kind of personally subscribe to the buy it once and be done with it kind of philosophy. I don't do a lot of Harbor Freight often. I like to buy like better quality tools because I do use them every day, or at least I did. So that is why, again, this nut driver set that I have, I mean, there was like, they're like $90 or something. It's pretty expensive, but it is a nice tool if you do need to use them all the time.
Evan Bookbinder said that Klein has a lifetime warranty.
That's the other nice thing. And I'm not going to send these in because the magnets broke, because that's my fault, right? But yeah, it's they're wonderful, and they do last a lot longer. Like, check it out. And again, this is a very old nut driver. This Exolite one, I've had this for a long time. I had these Exolite ones before I had these Klein ones, but I still keep them in my box. If you look, if this comes into focus, you've got like the hex around here. It is still very fine. There is no damage done to it. If you look at this guy here, do you see how it's really rounded off? Does that come into focus at all?
Yeah, we can. Oh, yeah, there you go. Nice, zoom in.
So, and again, this is a good tool, and this is a very, very hard used tool. I mean, these things have a life expectancy, right? They're not going to last forever, but I think that's the difference where you jump from that, $50 a set price point to the $90 a set price point, is that, the tools maybe are made of a little bit harder metal, but Exolite and Klein, they both make excellent tools. Anyways, common screwdrivers when it comes to pinball. You will need flatheads and Phillips screwdrivers, right? You will need a good number 2 screwdriver. and a good number 1 screwdriver. Larger head, smaller head. There is some number 3 screws in pinball, but it's not very common. There is probably a number 3 screwdriver in here somewhere, but I use it so rarely that I don't even remember if I have one in here. But a good, again, another tool you're going to use all the time is a good number 2 screwdriver. And again, it's a wear item. They round off. So buying a good quality screwdriver is handy. This one used to be magnetic tipped, but it is not anymore. I do like a magnetic tip screwdriver because sometimes you can't hold things when you're trying to snake your arms around to get to stuff. Number 1 screws are used a lot on older electromechanical games. The screws that hold the ramp flaps into games are number 1 screws. Use the right screwdriver for the job. You can't use the wrong nut driver. The thing won't work. But a screwdriver, you could totally try to shove a number 2 tip into a number 1 or vice versa, and you'll damage and screw your screws up. So you having good quality and the correct screwdriver for the job will save you many, many headaches. In the top here, again, the only time you're really going to use these flat blade screwdrivers are if you're working on Gottlieb games. Gottlieb loved slotted head screws. And that's about it. But again, I work on lots of Gottlieb games, so I need to have these things. Just get a slotted head screwdriver. You're not going to use it as often.
We're getting a lot of inquiry. Where did you get that awesome organizer for inside of your faux Pelican case?
So this is how it came. I got this at Fry's Electronics. It's a B&W International hard case. I guess they call it like a service technician's case. These are called pallets. I don't know much else. I've had this toolbox for a while. I haven't had to replace it, but I can't remember.
Really
There's another
nice.
company that makes another hard shell case, something Robinson. I don't remember. But generally, this sort of thing is called a technician's toolbox or a technician's case or something like that. This company is from Germany, and they make a good product. This thing's lasted for a long time. I just noticed that some of these screwdriver pockets were starting to blow out.
Oh, no.
But no, it's fine. It's going to last forever.
Did you show everyone your bent screwdriver yet?
Oh, no, that's the next one. A screwdriver.
Modified tools.
A screwdriver.
This is the modified tools section.
Oh, I've got a few of those. We'll go through those. But a screwdriver is to remove screws, right? You're not supposed to use a screwdriver as a prying device, but sometimes you have to. And that's why I like to keep these cheapy little Ace Hardware screwdrivers around. My non-patented bent screwdriver is my favorite tool for many, many reasons. But using these small screwdrivers to pry and bend things, those are pretty handy. They're really handy to have around. I have them in multiple lengths. I tend to use these things for prying and poking. And then I do have this little, I don't know what size, it's an 1/8 inch flathead screwdriver. This is what I use a lot when I'm working on Gottlieb games like relay banks, and I use this a lot on score reels. It's the perfect size for those screws. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I'll keep these cheapy screwdrivers for doing things that they're not intended to do, and then you keep one nice one to keep its intended purpose, or use it for its intended purpose, right? To keep the head nice so you don't blow the head out or something like that. So that's what goes in this pocket.
Move Cole said that he's seen a Phillips head screwdriver, a Phillips head driver that was made to back out really bad, worn out Phillips head screws.
Yeah.
I don't know if it has a name, but it was very useful to have.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it probably has a name, but yeah, that is neat. That's a huge pain in the butt. I don't generally carry a Dremel with me. So it depends on how I'd approach that in the field. But I mean, generally, if there's a really, really destroyed Phillips head screw, I'll Dremel a slot into it and try to use a flathead to get it out. So behind those things in my toolbox, I have an assortment of pokey things. This is like the second most important tool anyone could ever need. Are flush cutters. I keep like 2 or 3 sets of flush cutters in my toolbox. One of them is a nice, like, very virgin pair that I only use to cut wire. These are not intended to do 80% of what I actually use them for, so I do try to keep 1 or 2 sets that have really nice blades to cut wire. And then I have another set that I abuse and destroy. And generally, it's a rotating thing, right? There's a new set that goes in, and then the good set replaces the crappy ones I'm about to throw away. And you kind of rotate through them. But this is, I use this to cut everything, right? We were using this to cut the legs off of chips when we were installing that Ramtron. You cut, header pins off and stuff like that. They last a while, but I like to have a sharp pair to do really nice, precise work when I need it. So that's why I keep multiple pairs in my toolbox back here. I've got a pair of angled flush cutters, which I like to use to extract things a lot of the time. Sometimes on like older electromechanical games, there'll be like a framing nail, or not a framing nail, but like a teeny, like super small diameter nail or something, right? You need to pry it out. So you can use these to sit flush up against the playfield and then rotate to pull them out. You could use these for electronics work. These are very, 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 very handy.
Can you show it in your above cam so we can see like a close-up of... Oh, maybe go even closer. Does that even read? Oh, yeah, that's cool.
I could bring that other camera out if we wanted to. I don't know. Yeah, they're just handy. They've got this, like, again, they're kind of flat here, so you could lay this up against something and then rotate them like that to yank things out. They come in handy. And again, they're kind of supposed to have a sharp edge, but I use these for extracting things, so they're not sharp anymore.
It is the extractor tool.
Extractor. There's my nicer set of flush cutters. I've got an acid brush, because you never know when you're going to need to brush stuff up. These are like super cheap, crappy brushes you can get at like any hardware store. I don't know why they're called acid brushes, but that's the term that I've always heard these referred to as. But, you brush out an insert, or you want to brush something, whatever. You never have too many brushes, right? Let's see, what else is in here?
So for those of you joining us, we are going over all the common tools you should have in your pinball toolkit as advised by Kyle here.
I mean, not all of these things you need to have, right? These are things that I've built up in this toolkit over a long time because I found that I need them. I'll put a lot of emphasis on the things you definitely need to have in your kit. These being some of them. Picks. Picks are really handy. These are just like dental picks, right? You never know when you're going to need these. I grew up with dirt bikes. And if anyone else has dirt bikes, putting exhaust springs on a 2-stroke dirt bike is like a giant pain in the butt. And you know what has a lot of springs? Pinball. They don't have big spring pullers for pinball, but this makes a really good spring puller. A little, curved pick. Sometimes you need a straight pick. This is really handy to poke things. I like them. I've got a punch if I ever needed to punch anything into a playfield, or if I needed to punch something out of a playfield. This is not a roll pin punch. This is just like a straight punch. 5/30 seconds punch. I don't know. It's handy. What else is in here? This is kind of fun because I don't get to do this very often. I don't even know what I have in my toolbox sometimes until I need it. I hear Steve laughing, so someone's probably saying something funny over there.
Family Games asked, does he have a spring punch in the pokey section? I like to use those on bolts that have the Loctite. It's great for breaking loose bolts on flipper bracket nuts that hold the flipper bushings on.
Yeah, no, I do not. Generally, if I have to fight with one, I just brunt through it. I do not have anything like that in my toolbox.
Yeah, and CNK says spring puller is a must.
Yeah, some sort of a spring puller is handy. I have like eyeglass screwdrivers in my toolbox that I totally forgot that I had in there, and I've never ever needed to use these things before. But you never know. They could come in handy at some point. They probably shouldn't be back there because I forgot they were there, so
yeah.
We'll throw them in the dungeon for now, and we'll find a better place for them.
So Kyle can fix your eyes and your teeth and your pinball machines.
Ugh. I don't know if I trust me to do
toolbox.
any of those things, honestly.
Oh, Family Games, thanks for posting that. He posted the spring punch from our website. Man, Family Games, you're all over it today.
Let's see.
Thank you. Barry Raman asked, I hear Todd at TNT talking about a fiberglass brush. Is this worth having?
Yes. If you work on
Yes.
circuit boards, you need a fiberglass brush. It's the most amazing thing. I mean, actually, I guess they're good for also cleaning and burnishing contacts, too. I have a very cheap and easy, like, IC puller. It's just 2 little 90-degree bends at the bottom, and you could use this to pull chips out or anything that you can squeeze this under. This isn't a tool I use very often, but it is in my toolbox. What else do we have in here? This is exciting. There's another punch. I'm not going to bring that out because you don't use punches a lot unless you're actually doing woodwork. An X-Acto knife. You never know how many times you will need an X-Acto knife. Carry them. Carry it safely. Keep extra blades. That's a very handy tool. Let's see. I had this made for me. It is a coil a coil sleeve extracting device. Let me see if I can exemplify it.
Yeah, isn't this your own creation? You got this fabricated? This is not something you can readily get?
You
on
can't,
our
but I
site,
kind of want to
or-
make them because it's really simple and it can come in super. Actually, wait. Here, I have a bazillion coils right here. What am I doing? What it is, oops, wrong latches. If you've ever had to deal with like a slightly overheated coil that's swollen up and you have struggled pulling the sleeve out, generally you should just replace the coil, right? But sometimes you don't have the right part, sometimes the coil works fine and you're just going to replace the sleeve. This thing is the exact depth to hit the coil sleeve and push its way through a standard bobbin coil, right? So it's really handy. I've had to use it. It saves me a lot of time when I need to use it. So.
And can you show a close-up of that, how it's cut? Because it's really interesting, right? So explain how we would be able to make this ourselves.
You can't unless you have a lathe.
If we had one.
I'll try to get some of these made. It's a very simple tool.
Yeah, that would
It's
be great.
my friend Dan Zielinski at Musée Mécanique in San Francisco made this for me. It's amazing. So everyone needs
That's
one of those.
cool.
They just didn't even know
That's
it yet.
a cool trick.
Let's see. I've got some pin extracting tools here. I've got the straw that we would use to like take boards off of standoffs on Gottlieb games, Bally games. Everyone needs one of these. We have this on our website. I have no idea what the part number is. It's a Gottlieb tool. I think Gottlieb had a part number for it. I've got some standard Molex pin extractors here. The 2 sizes you'll use a lot in pinball are going to be the .093 and the .062. I have this cheaper one here that is the .82 or something. A lot of video games and Japanese video games will use this on harnesses. It's something you don't see a lot in pinball though. But I have all 3 sizes with me because unfortunately I do have to work on video games sometimes, no matter how much I dislike it.
Oh, Mofko asked, what kind of wire strippers do you have?
Oh, we're getting there next.
Oh, okay, sorry, we're jumping ahead.
You need this. Everybody needs a Molex crimp and stuff press thing. You need this. If you buy IDC connectors, stop. Buy this, and then you can crimp and stuff Molex connectors because it's a bazillion times better. It does take a little practice to get used to using this tool the correct way and do it strong and not mangle pins, but like this is the most valuable thing I have in my toolbox, and I use it every single time I go work on someone's pinball game because connectors are like the leading cause of things not working in pinball. So yeah, you need this, and you need to practice on this. Buy 100 of each pin and get some spare wire and just start crimping and do it right. There's a lot of guides. I'll make one because I want people to do this right.
Oh yeah, have we done an episode on repinning Molex connectors?
Very lightly, but I think we should do like
you did that one.
We should do a better episode where we actually go through like the finer points of it.
I added it to our episode ideas list. Thanks, Family Games.
Wire strippers.
Wire strippers.
These are
so
from
cute.
Jonard Tools. I think I bought these at Fry's Electronics because they were cheap. But these are the kind of wire strippers that I like. I don't like those big bulky ones that, you know, do the pull and strip. I don't like the ones that you just pull the wire through. These do take a little bit of a hand to figure out how to use, because if you are a little too rough, you can cut the wire. So you do need to kind of get a feel for how tight and to pull and strip wires. But these are amazing. And wire strippers do go bad. This is a wear item. They do get dull. So unless you can sharpen that teeny little opening, this is something that does turn into a wear item. I mean, I guess I don't replace my wire strippers more than once every 5 years, but still, a fresh set of wire strippers is amazing. What's this? Oh, I've got, not only is it a baby vice grip, it's also angled. This thing is really handy. I can't give you any examples of when you would need this, but when you need it, you will be very glad you have a small vice grip. When it comes to this kind of stuff, name brand really is important to me. I feel like this stuff lasts longer and works better than some of the cheaper stuff you might be able to get at Harbor Freight or something like that. And this is not me being like an elitist and saying don't buy crap from Harbor Freight, but you get what you pay for. And sometimes that stuff just doesn't last long. I hate when people say, you know, oh, everything's made in China now, blah, blah, blah. That's not bad. But you get what you pay for. If you buy the $1 wire stripper or $1 punch, and it just so happens to say made in China on it, but, you know, if you buy something quality, it doesn't matter where it's made. Let's just put it that way. But I don't like to buy stuff at Harbor Freight because I can't have my tools failing on me when I'm on a job. But some things I do. Some things are absolutely fine to buy at Harbor Freight, especially wear items that go bad really fast.
Steve Burtock said in all caps, flush cuts.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Steve, for the fresh set of flush cutters. You're the best. This is a goofy tool I made out of some whatever plastic this is, PETG or something. But this is a very specific tool that has a very specific job, and I like tools like that. This tool is to hold the bushing that goes in between the, if this is the head of your Stern pinball game, there's a bracket that attaches to the cabinet, right? There's a bushing between the cabinet and that bracket that attaches to the head. It is a pain in the rear to keep that bushing in place when you're trying to bolt everything together. So I made this tool to hold the bushing while you assemble things. When I used to work for a distributor or a Stern dealer, I guess actually we were an everything dealer, but sometimes I would have to deliver games upstairs by myself. And that is a giant pain in the butt, but it's not impossible. The Spike 2 games are incredibly easy to take apart, and you can bring the game up in, like, I call it like the DEFCON 5 installation process, where the playfield comes out, right? The head comes off. And at that point, you're just carrying a plywood cabinet and a stainless steel head, or a stamped steel head upstairs, and it becomes a lot lighter to do by yourself. So that's why I have that thing.
And that's a tool you made, so it doesn't exist?
No, yeah, it doesn't exist. I should sell it to Stern so they can sell it to all their dealers or something. Let's see. These are like pin extraction tools. So these are for, I guess you'd use these a lot for edge connectors. You could also use them for .156, like crimp and stuff connectors, but honestly, don't buy a special tool for that. Just use a teeny screwdriver. It does the same thing. This is for an edge connector where you would have to stick this pin in. Actually, hold on. I have an edge connector. I'm going to search for it for like 1 second before I give up, but I know it's here because I want to use this to explain. Because I see people using these tools incorrectly all the time.
Yeah, and Jaylee Bolton brings a very good tip that Kyle would approve is cheap tools are great for at-home work, but quality helps on the job site to prevent failure.
Okay, I can't find my edge connector, but what it is the pins lock inside the housing. So what you do is you stick this tool inside that housing, and it depresses the locking tab, which allows you to pull the wire out. You cannot use anything. I mean, you could probably fashion something to work, but this is a very nifty tool. If you were just using this on a .156 connector, you'd probably bend it and give it a wanger like that, and that turns a special tool into something that's almost useless. So again, if you're trying to use it just on a crimp and stuff connector, just use a screwdriver. It does the same thing. This is a special extractor for ATX pins. So
these tools are getting smaller and smaller. Can we zoom in?
This one is for like using on ATX connectors for like computer power supplies and stuff. But a lot of video games, Japanese video games will use these connectors also. So that's why I have this guy. Actually, I think Jersey Jack uses these connectors in some places also. So it's another reason to keep them in your toolbox if you have a Jersey Jack game and you need to go that deep into it.
Dalton said Kyle is like the Bob Ross of pinball repair. I can get behind that.
That's a cool compliment. Thanks, dude. I feel like I'm just a blabbering dork, but let's move on to the bottom here.
We did have a question. Do you have a ribbon cable connector tool to make ribbon cable?
Yeah, but I don't carry that with me to jobs. It's not worth carrying. The way I would set up a service call like that is like try to bring those tools beforehand or bring the parts beforehand. I keep those things in my shop. So I don't need that in my toolbox. It's not, it wouldn't earn its keep, right? Inside the toolbox, zip ties. Everyone needs zip ties. Zip ties are the most important thing ever. I think I've been really OCD about telling everyone how important it is to tie your harnesses together. Zip ties. Buy a bazillion. They're cheap. They're amazing.
Do you prefer a particular size of zip tie? Because those are the tiny ones.
Yeah, small ones. They just look better. They look like the ones that the factory used also. I like the white ones because they're probably cheaper than the black ones. I don't know. I also get fluorescent. I also get the obnoxious ones. I like fluorescent green and pink because why the hell not? My favorite tool in my toolbox, the fingernail clipper. You know, sometimes you're working on a game and you just got to clip your fingernail. It comes in handy. So I keep those. They earn their keep. Needle nose pliers.
Nice.
What, is someone making fun of me for my fingernail clippers?
Well, no. No, everyone thinks that's a great idea. You got any eyebrow tweezers in there too?
Nah, I should though.
Got it. Kenneth Grant asked, do you have a tool to remove the Gottlieb boards from the back box? I think you showed that earlier, but.
This little guy.
It's a straw?
It's a little straw. You could drink out of it. It looks like another straw that for something illicit I'm not going to talk about. But that's generally, the old school guys will call it a cocaine straw. A lot of the guys that have been doing this forever just call it the Coke straw. I'm not going to go into it, but that is something that it is referred to as, so I'm going to put that out there in the land of knowledge. But it's just a small, hollow, 1/8-inch tube, I think. But we sell it on our website. It's a Gottlieb part number, and it's invaluable. A nice thing you can do with it also is they do come this long, and they are very easy to lose. Cut it in half. Then you have two, and you can keep one in a safe place and one in your toolbox somewhere.
Nice.
Needle nose pliers. You need them. They're great. These are just like a 6-inch set of needle nose pliers that I've had forever, and they do the job. Wrenches. I keep a 5/8-inch wrench for leg bolts and for jam nuts. I also have a 9/16-inch wrench for bally leg bolts, bally jam nuts, and lots of head bolts are generally 9/16-inch. This one's ratcheting for extra speed.
Nice.
Let's see. Let's keep on wrenches. I've got like a ton of open-end wrenches in here. I don't like working on pinball games with socket wrenches. It's just too awkward and clunky. socket wrench or open end wrench wise, I mean, I have 1/4 inch. I have two 15 or 5/16 inch wrenches. Sometimes you do need two. Sometimes you'll have like a post cap and the threaded, the post that actually goes through the playfield, and you'll undo the nut and it'll start taking out the post with it. You'll need two of the same size sometimes to break those things loose if you're not using a nut driver. But I also have, these are very common sizes to need to use on the playfield. But I have these two are Craftsman, and they are very thick. These are Ace from Ace Hardware, and they're a lot thinner. So I do keep some thicker and some thinner ones if I need that lower profile. Sometimes using these thinner ones to get underneath plastics is easier and keeps you from damaging and scratching plastics. The other sizes I keep in here separate. 11/32, that's another common hardware size. 3/8, this is what I use to tighten all of my flippers. 7/16, it's useful. The bolts that hold Williams heads together are 7/16, and I guarantee you if you open up any of your WPC games that those are loose, so go tighten them. And then a 1/2 inch one, because you never know when you're going to need it. So these don't take up much room, so I don't mind keeping these sorts of things that I might not use very often in the toolbox because they don't take up a ton of room.
Yeah, Midge, do you know what the part number is for the Gottlieb Coke tube? Everyone's trying to find it.
Not off the top of my head. I think I can crack it pretty quick, though.
Can I add those as a keyword?
struggling.
Can I make it say Coke straw, or is that going to get me fired?
No.
Nobody will ever see it if it's on the back end. So
Berto Drink had a good tip. He wrote that he keeps a single alligator clip to hold wires together when he solders them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait till we get to the bottom. I've got a mess of alligator clips. The next little pocket over from those wrenches, what do we have here? We have a metric crap ton of switch adjusters, points files, flex stones, light socket cleaners. What's in there? I'm always scared to reach my finger into the bottom of this thing because I'm going to get bit by a tool.
Or a spider.
Yeah, or some evil monster that's been living in there. Oh, it's a really, really short light stick cleaner. Okay, let's go over some of this crap. Points files. I have 3 of them in various degrees of dullness. I probably should get rid of some of these because some of them are so dull they don't do the job. If you have new pinball games, you really don't need one of these. Some guys don't like using these at all because they're very abrasive. These are used to clean points on switches. Sometimes games are really dirty. I've worked on games that people really wanted me to work on that I swear they dug them up from the bottom of the ocean. They're disgusting. And sometimes you need something, the nuclear option to clean those points. That's why I keep these around. The gentler option is the beloved Flex Stone. These are amazing. Mm-hmm. You need these. Everybody needs these. These are safe to use on all sorts of switches because they're not abrasive enough to destroy the material, but they are abrasive enough to take the dirt off. I think on our website it's 77-PLAST.
I posted it. Hey,
Yeah, so I know some of the
circuit board extraction tool,
Yep.
not Coke straw.
Oh, I work with old people. Well, the people I worked with were old, and in the 80s, that just happened a lot. It's a common thing. Look in an 80s like Playboy or National Geographic or something, you'll see advertisements for those sorts of things I was just talking about, for those intended
Scott
purposes.
Denisi is here.
Hey,
Thanks
Scott.
for joining
What's
us,
up, man?
You're always here in spirit because we have TNA right there for all of us to. Oh, good zoom in. That was good.
Plastones, though, or flex stones, sometimes you'll get them and they'll be really gritty, and you'll get like some grit falling off of them, and that grit is not bad. It's not going to cause any shorts or anything nasty, but these also wear out pretty quick. They do have a short shelf life because they're abrasive, but not too abrasive. I mean, this is like a 4,000, 8,000 grit sandpaper. What you'll use these for generally is you'll get the switch, stick this in the middle, and drag it out. Another thing people use are business cards, and business cards are like the gentlest option. So I also carry business cards somewhere to use for that reason. Light socket cleaners, these are super handy. Like old Bally games have really lazy light sockets. I mean, actually, I guess pretty much every pinball game is old enough now to have lazy lamp sockets. So these are handy. They get inside and allow you to cut the crud off the side. They cut the crud off of the bottom little nipple for the lamp, and also force that the plunger that the lamp sits on in and out. We'll do a demonstration on one of my Bally games that has lazy lamp sockets, and we'll go over how to fix those. That would be a fun episode. Sometimes if you want, again, the nuclear option, I like to put these in the chuck of a drill and just blast the lamp socket with these things, and that'll really get a lazy lamp socket done. But that's like, again, if I do not have the correct lamp socket and I really want to try to fix it. I don't have patience for bad lamp sockets. If they fail the cleaning test like 1 or 2 times, I just replace it now. They're cheap, and you gotta have lights, man. Switch adjusters, very important. Everyone needs them. This is just like a combination of ancient.
What's the lazy lamp tool? Is there a part number?
We sell those too, I think. I mean, I know we do. I used to get them from Pinball Resource as well. Switch adjusters are great. We sell we sell a set of 3 that comes in like 3 different flavors. I don't remember what the flavors are. You've got like a 90 degree and a straight. You've got like a 45 and a 90, and then we sell one with like a 90 and then
I just got one of those
45, but in a different configuration. You can never have too many. These things do wear out also. They're thin, they snap, or you can have an ancient one like this that is just like so blown out that it kind of doesn't work anymore, but I keep it because I've had it for like 10 years. There's something, I have a lot of nostalgic tools in here that I don't use, but again, I've been using them since I bought my first pinball game. So, you know, in fact, Steve Sharland may have given me this tool. So that's one reason I'll never get rid of it, even if I never use it.
Awesome. And Midge just posted the socket cleaning stick that we have on our website.
This is important when you work inside of arcades and everyone is constantly asking you, hey, do you work here? Can I have change? When I would work at Musée Mécanique, I was given this badge with honors, so people wouldn't have to ask me if I worked here, and I could give them change to their heart's desire. And I'm going to put it on now, because I got my comm badge on this side. Why not? This is a PLCC chip puller. This is what you'd use to take the ASIC chip out of like a Williams computer.
Cool.
Why? But that's why you have to have the right tool to do it. You get them on the corners, and it just kind of
over there,
and
like,
you pull it,
what?
and it lifts it right out. But see, that's the thing. Don't pull an ASIC out unless you have the right tool. It's really, you can do lots of damage, and those things are very expensive. So I don't have to use this very often, but I mean, I guess actually I'm wrong. Because a lot of times you'll go to a customer's house, and it's like, oh, you know, this game used to work. And you know, you go to this corroded, awful mess, and I'm not going to fix a busted WPC computer, and I just throw in a replacement, and you'll need this to replace the ASIC. So I do use it more than I thought I did. This is a infrared light test stick. You can do the same test now with like your cell phone camera, but I'll use this to test optos on pinball games. You can stick this, what's called the test area in front of an infrared LED, and it'll put a little spot, and that helps me see if a LED is working or not. I've got a crappy pocket knife, some heat shrink tubing, some pens, stuff I have to use to fill out invoices and stuff with, right? What else is in here? Allen key set, just a standard Allen key set. It goes from 5/16 to 1/16. Definitely want this. They're very handy because right next to them I also keep T-handles and a straight one. I've got a 5/32 straight. This is the Allen nut size that Williams used on their flippers. A lot of games use for flippers. I've got a T-handle just in case I need more torque. and then an 1/8" T-handle that Bally used a lot on their flipper cranks. So having both of these in combination is really handy. Again, I have these for speed. You know, if you just want these, that's not a problem.
Can you zoom in a little bit, Midge, on Kyle and the toolbox?
What else is in here? I've got some forceps. I don't know. I think I used these once, and I was like, oh man, I'm so glad I had these in my toolbox, and I don't think I've ever used them again. But again, they don't take up much room. You never know when you'll need them. This is a really awesome tool, and I don't know. We don't sell anything like this, do we? We do. Are they from Mill Amusement?
No. It's called the Bulb Yankee.
The Bulb Yankee. But is it a plier like this?
Yes.
It's not the stick on a...
It's called Son of Bulb Yankee.
Oh. These are great. These are for pulling bulbs in places that are like hard to get to, right? Like a pop bumper body or something, and you're really struggling to get a bulb out. They're pliers that have a rounded inside. They're a rubberized tip. You can go inside and grab a bulb and twist it and turn it. Do be careful. You can make the bulbs explode with these things because you can put lots of pressure on them. But these are handy. These are really, really handy to have. I would recommend everyone have them. And now I know that we have them on the website. You should buy them. What else? I've got brushes, brash brush, steel brush. Never know when they're going to come in handy. We've got a magnet on a stick. I think I got this at a Golden State Pinball Festival. Thank you for being a volunteer goodie bag once. It used to have a light. It kind of worked, but it just went out. But it's kind of neat. Extendy magnet. You need this. You absolutely need this. If you were going to buy one, I wouldn't buy such a fat one. I'd probably buy like the skinniest one possible because you will drop teeny screws underneath ramps and a very small magnet can sneak its way in there and pick up a screw. So
yeah, and we actually have a really skinny one and we have one that has a mirror attached to it.
Yeah.
It's a mirror, so you would use both. That's great.
I've got one of those too. But I've got a bigger one that I use for adjusting colors on video game monitors, but that's in the bottom. So let's go in there because this is actually kind of like going into the deep ocean because I haven't looked at the bottom of my toolbox for very long. It's probably gross. There's probably a lot of weird tokens in there.
No, CNK, not a skirt mirror.
Huh.
Kids
How about some questions? Do we have any questions because I'm talking really fast?
No, I think you should keep going because we're already an hour in and we haven't even gone through your entire toolbox.
Yeah, there's a lot of crap in here. Let's see if I can find the useful things. There's a lot of crap in here. I feel bad because I like to be organized, but this is just a freaking mess. A headlamp. Headlamps are great. I think that thing's out of batteries. I should fix that.
Top cam for this.
Generally, when you buy a set of
whoops.
What are they called? Prop rod? Nice. When you buy a set of nut drivers, they will come with like a lot bigger sizes that you won't use a ton. 3/16 is a size you will very rarely ever use in pinball or amusement. There is a 1/2 inch and a 7/16 inch size, which you might find a use for. Some coin door hardware uses these sizes, and they're handy to have just because they're so much faster than using a wrench. I keep them in the bottom since I don't use them very often. Oh, check that out. I have a 9/16 inch wrench with a little ratchet side. I had no idea I had that. That's awesome. This thing's super cool. I use this for installing coin doors. I'm sorry, coin door locks. Actually, wait, I have another tool that goes with this. No, this is the one I use for coin door locks. This is super handy. You've got a 7/8 inch socket on the end of a palm ratchet. It's a 1/2 inch drive. It's reversible, but this thing is nice because it's small. So I don't have to carry a giant socket wrench to get coin door stuff off. So this, you know, it's the size of my palm, but it fits in the toolbox really well. I love this thing. This is how I do all of my coin door locks. This thing is handy, but I don't use it too often. It's a ratchetless ratchet. I don't know how it works, but you can move this thing like a millimeter and it wants to start ratcheting. It's really handy, but it doesn't come too handy in pinball. I use this a lot when I was working on motorcycles. I have a big box of these. But you know, it can come in handy if you got a second person that want to help set up a pinball leg or something. Yeah, here's your little wrench. It doesn't take up much room either. Let's see. Big file. This is super handy for things you need to file. I use this a lot on magnets, or I'll use this a lot on our magnet cores if you need to reshape a magnet core. I'll use this a lot on plungers that have really nasty burrs on the end of them. And maybe I don't have the correct plunger to replace it with, or it's not worth replacing the plunger. I can take this file and take the burr off of the file. That's important. Here's the fiberglass brush. In fact, I have 2 of them. This is a tool you totally need. Also, it's a specialty tool. I use it mostly when I'm working on circuit boards, but you can use it to work on to burnish contacts on switches too. It is handy. It's even more gentle than using.
It's hard to see it. Can you hold it up in the top camera or?
No, I'll bring it close. It's just a brush that has a long. Here, let me bring it out the other way.
Okay.
Then you can really see what's going on. It's just got fiberglass bristles, so it's kind of like a fiberglass paintbrush. Do not touch it. You will itch, and these little fiberglass fragments will get in your finger, and it's miserable and it hurts. But they're really, really, really useful. Again, I'll use these a lot on circuit boards that have burn damage, corrosion damage. If I needed to take off like a layer of silk screening or something to expose a trace, this is a really gentle way to do it. They're great.
Did you show a flipper switch nut tool? Danielle is asking.
Flipper switch nut. No. I had one, but I think it went missing. But they do make a special tool. I forget what size those nuts are. But what I'll generally do is just use, I know it's kind of crude, but these, I forget what these are called, these amazing opening-closey pliers. That's what I'm going to call them. If you're gentle, you can use these to extract those things. Sometimes what it is the flipper button nut remover is it's like this, and there's one size on one side and another on the other, and it's just kind of a straight tool you can use to take those things off. But see, here's the other thing, right? This is my toolbox I use when I'm doing like service, and changing someone's flipper buttons isn't a service thing most of the time, right? That's something that I'll do when I'm making a game pretty, which generally I'm having people bring them to the shop to do that. I charge a lot less money when people bring me things instead of me having to go there, and making flipper buttons pretty is kind of, that's low on my list of things to do when someone's game doesn't work. I have a voltmeter in here. I have a very cheap voltmeter. I've had this voltmeter for a long time. It has never failed me. You do not need anything super fancy when you're servicing a pinball game. You're looking to see if voltage is there or not. I do not need to know how many decimal places of voltage I have in a certain circuit, because generally it's either there or it's not. In the shop, I have a much nicer voltmeter. I have all sorts of stuff that does not need to be in my travel box, right? When I'm going to someone's house and like, my displays don't work. Okay, let's check for high voltage. Oh, we have 0 volts, or oh, we have 190 volts, you know? And if it had 150 volts, it would tell me. I do not need to know down to certain decimal places. You do not need anything crazy fancy, especially if it's going to sit in the bottom of your toolbox. This is one of the most important tools you have, but again, since I have, my going out stuff and then more specialized equipment at the shop, this is fine. Don't overspend.
Nice.
I have a dongle. The later Williams games did not have a service outlet, so they had this like IEC dongle thing. So I carry this just in case I'm working on a later Williams game, then I need to use the service outlet. A redundant second 1/4-inch nut driver. For whatever reason, I never use it. I've got a set of security bits in here. Lots of pinball and amusement stuff use a security bit. Security bits are generally, like here, this is just a standard Allen, right? But they'll have a little, they'll have something sticking up and out, so you can't use a standard Allen wrench to remove them. So this has a hollowed out center, which allows me to remove those sorts of things. If you have a WPC game or a System 11 game, go look at your back glass lock. Generally, they use a Torx head that it uses a security nip, so you can't use a standard bit to open those things up. Let's see, what else is in here? I know.
Yeah, so Kyle, I'm gonna make, we're gonna give you homework. Your next article to write is going to be your essential pinball tools.
Yeah,
list.
I'm happy. I'd like to do that because this is kind of
everything you're showing us. Something
this is kind of crazy.
I'll help add all the hot links to where they can get these tools.
Crescent wrench. You need a crescent wrench. They come in handy. I like to have the right tool for the job, but sometimes this is the right tool for the job, so you need one. I have this teeny screwdriver that is super handy. You've got your standard screwdriver. You've got the I need a little bit more room screwdriver, and then you've got the I really need a lot of room screwdriver. Let's see. Is there anything else in here? I've got a mess of wires. These are just handy to have around. Alligator clips, like this. You've got little hook-style ones to latch onto, like you know, components or chips or legs or something like that. I made this thing. I use this to test like lamp matrices. It's just two of those little hook-style connectors, and I soldered one end to one end of a light bulb and the other to the other end of an LED. And I can use this to go through and check which parts of a lamp matrix are working or not if I really needed to do some troubleshooting. It's kind of handy. The rest of the stuff in here, this is like stuff I never, ever use. There's so many screwdrivers. I can't wait to clean this thing up. Soldering iron. You need this. This is my soldering iron that I carry with me everywhere. It's a Hakko FX601 67-watt soldering iron with adjustable temperature. I put a chisel tip on it because that's how I like to solder. Soldering tips will kind of be like round, like your finger. They can come to a point, like an arrow, or they'll come to a chisel. So it's flat, and then it has two bevels on either side. I like this because it's wide enough for me to do like big fat lugs on a coil. It's also can be used fine enough to do board work. So it's very versatile. This one is adjustable temperature, and I keep mine set at 410 degrees Celsius or so.
Nice.
People ask me that a lot.
Ninja asked, do you have a few strips of piano wire?
I keep some of that in my parts box, which we might have time to get to. I'm going to start rushing now. A jeweler's loop, when you're doing board work and you need to make sure that everything is handy dandy. Again, I was being super obnoxious about saying you need a light. Good light will help you see things, and sometimes when you look at things without light or without magnification, you'll miss stuff. A jeweler's loop is handy. That's why I carry this around. I am only going to pull out important things from this spot because it's full of screwdrivers and crap that I just need to throw away. I have desoldering wire, some solder wick. It's handy, but generally I'll be using my solder sucker. If I'm doing something that's really fine or damaged and I can't use the sink, talked about this, it can damage traces and stuff. Like desoldering braid is really handy. It sucks the solder up. The solder is attracted to it. There's a bunch of screwdrivers in here. Grips. I had those cute little ones. Some real ones are also very handy when you have problems. I have a pry bar. A small pry bar can get you out of all sorts of situations when you need a pry bar.
You just toss your tools down, man.
I trust them. They're their tools. What else is in here? There's a lot of screws. I have a token gauge. because sometimes in arcades I have to
Oh.
deal with tokens as much as I hate tokens, but these are handy to have. I think we sell
Wow.
these. Roger Williams Mint. It allows you to butt a token up to each side to tell you what size the
That's
token is.
cool.
There's like 4 or 5 different sizes of tokens. That's what that's used for. Got some more forceps, which don't lock, but they're handy. They're kind of big, so I don't use. Solder. We've talked about solder. We don't need to go into solder right now, but I carry my solder in the bottom of the toolbox. And that's about it. I have a box cutter in here. That's a very standard tool. I have a scraper that is missing the razor blade. That's annoying. But this is handy, like, you know, when you're trying to get tape or something off of a lockdown bar or get some nasty stuff off a side rail. Having a scraper is real handy. That's about it. I've got a collection of razor blades that are kind of scary, so I'm going to dump this out later. I've got all sorts of really cool. I've got a Showbiz pizza place token. I told you there was like a little collection of tokens in here. I'll grab the couple that I can see. What else? That's the fun thing about going and working people's weird games is sorts of weird crap in the bottom of their games, and lots of them can be token. Check it's cheese on there. This one is Video Gizwiz. I don't know. It's kind of a cool token though. Anyways,
Do
more
you
in
have a
here.
safe rack?
Token in my box of weird pinball stuff at home. That's too valuable